Hello, boils and ghouls. You know, I've never said that before. Let's hope I never say it again. Hello and welcome to Creepy Cheapies, also known as affordably priced Halloween mask recommendations with Dr. Lady. I, of course, am Theodore Roosevelt, and tonight, something not really for you high-end collectors so much as a more utilitarian mask, a more useful mask, a mask that I've always been a big fan of, even though it's not a big high-end collector item, and that is the Be Something Studio, or as they're called now, Zagone Gorilla. Now, this design first came out about 700 years ago. It was either the late 1970s or the early 80s, somewhere in there. And there were other gorillas even by the same company, Be Something Studio, and there have been dozens and dozens of gorillas. Everybody has done gorilla masks over the years, and there have been so many of them. Why do I keep coming back to this particular one from the folks at, where is it? That's right, Be Something Studios, or as they're called nowadays, Zagone Studio. Why do I keep coming back to this one? I like the expression on it. Okay, take a look at his expression, and let me tell you a thing or three. I don't know how intentional it was, but this expression works so well if you're actually wearing a gorilla suit. And we've done haunted houses that had live-action gorillas in them. We've done guest appearances and parties and all kinds of silly things, including Bongo the Christmas Gorilla, who wore a red plush Santa-looking vest and a hat and stood out in front of department stores, discount stores, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army to get people to donate. And people will donate. They will when there's a gorilla. But anyway, myself and most of my friends have worn a gorilla suit at one time or another because we do silly things. And in terms of characters, a gorilla is really a fun one to play. And you know, if you're playing like a zombie, you can't do as much because to stay in character you have to be very dead. If you're playing Darth Vader, you have to kind of do this the whole time and not do too much business as far as character stuff. But if you're playing a gorilla, you can go from scary to funny to pitiful to confused to angry to whatever. And this mask, the expression is such that really it goes with all those different emotions. And that might sound impossible, but really when you put this thing on and you've got a gorilla suit on, it picks up, the expression picks up your body language, I guess would be a good way to put it. Would that be a good way to put it? Not good enough for right now. So if you want to act like you're mad, he will look mad. If you want to act like you're sad, he will look sad. It's just a nice middle-of-the-road expression that can be used for any gorilla suit purpose. Whether you, maybe small children come along and you don't want to be as scary, you want to be sillier. This guy doesn't have a terrifying face that will make kids cry if you behave in a funny, clowny fashion when you have it on. Or if you do want to be more scary because surly teenagers come through and you want to intimidate them, you can do that too, because if you act, scary, the mask will pick it up. So that's why this is still one of my favorite gorilla masks ever. Looks a bit like the gorillas in the Planet of the Apes movies too, don't you think? Sure you do. And now that it must be said, the quality is not as nice as back in the 80s when they were really thick. Zagone, like a lot of other mask companies, has cut back on the thickness of their latex. They are conserving latex, I guess you'd call it, by casting the masks thinner. So yeah, they still make this guy as of today, and he looks almost identical to the way he looked in the early 1980s, but not as thick a castings. But the fur is the same, the expression is the same, and thin or not, I still recommend this one very highly. A favorite gorilla of mine, the Be Something Studios Deluxe Gorilla, sometimes just called Gorilla. And that's all I have to say about that, so there's really no point in you sitting there looking at me any longer.